Are you ready to buy a house in 2021? Well, if you are, you're thinking about it, or you're not sure, or you've totally dismissed the idea, stay tuned. I'm going to share with you the five musts to get ready to buy a home. Hi everyone, Josh C here, Realtor with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services in Fort Collins, Colorado. If this is your first time to my channel, check out my content below. Check out the description with helpful links, tips, tools, things like that. You can check out my website, social media at seeitsoldjosh.com, and email contact information in the description box. Reach out if I can help, if you have questions. Before we get started, hit the subscribe button, hit that like bell and ring the notification bell. Comment below with any thoughts, questions, feedback you have. I'd love to hear it, and I answer 100% of your guys' feedback, and let me know how I can help. So without further ado, we're going to get started in our 5 musts to get ready to buy a home in 2021. Number 1, save your pennies. Buying a house is pricey. It's expensive. It's usually, they say, the biggest investment that you'll make in your lifetime. It's not like buying a car where you can go in and perhaps not put any money down and you drive off the lot. Well, the thing with a car, right? It depreciates in value. The minute you drive it off the lot, it loses like 25 to 30% of its entire value. It's not going to appreciate unless it's a classic car or something like that, okay? But a house appreciates in value. So with that, it's an investment. You know, it's a serious thing. You can't just walk in and buy a house with no money unless you go have some of these things that we'll go over here in just a minute. But pretty much a first-time home buyer, you would go through the FHA, that's the Federal Housing Administration, and the FHA, to obtain a mortgage, they require 3.5% down of the home's list price. So for instance, here in Northern Colorado, where I am, let's take, say, a $350,000 house. That means you're gonna have to have a little over $12,000 to put down for your down payment. And that shows the FHA that you would qualify for that loan, amongst other things, credit, things like that. So really save your pennies. And a good example, think about some of your necessities and think about some of your luxuries. There are all those streaming devices and streaming services out right now. Do you really need Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, Apple, and all the other ones out there? Which ones do you truly need? And even though they may be $5, $10, $15, $20 a month, spread that out over many months and even a year, and that can really add up. I like to use the example of your daily coffee. You know, if you're spending $5 on a grande coffee from your favorite coffee place, if you do that 5 times a day and 52 weeks a year, you're gonna spend about $1,300. Now granted, that's not your $12,000 you need for your down payment if you're looking at, say, a $350,000 house, but it's a good start. You're about 10% of the way to your goal. So think about some of your other things, your other small things that you can sacrifice or even just get rid of. Some of these subscription plans like we talked about, do you really need them? What if you really want a home, if you really want that house, it's gonna take some sacrifice first to get everything going. The second thing to get ready for when buying a home in 2021, earnest money. A lot of people don't know what this is. A lot of people understand maybe a down payment or they have to save, things like that, like we just talked about. But earnest money, that's kind of like a good faith deposit. So if you're having a house built, or even if you're buying an existing home, that seller of that home, when you submit that offer with your realtor, then they're going to want to see you're serious. Now, usually the only way, or one of the few ways they can see that you're serious in purchasing their home, is they want some money. They want some what's called earnest money to put forth with that offer to show them you're serious. Now it varies per market, but in like my market and in a heavy seller's market like Colorado is right now, and like many other states are in 2021, it's usually about 1% of the sales price. So back to the example of the $350,000 house we just used, 1% of that would be $3,500. So a lot of people don't realize that they have to have that in addition to their down payment, okay? So, but the cool thing with your earnest money or your good faith deposit is that will go towards your closing costs okay, to close your loan and for you to get the keys to that house, or you can put them towards, they say, the down payment as well, so towards that $12,000. And work with a realtor, work with a mortgage loan officer, and they can help you kind of iron out those details. But it's not like you get that money back necessarily. Sometimes you might, back in the form of cash or a check once you close, but it's just showing that you are serious, you are ready to buy that house. Can be really difficult to put an offer, a serious offer in on a home and it be accepted unless you have that earnest money. So keep that in mind when you're saving for a home. Okay, number 3, this is one I see quite often that folks just, they don't realize it's a big deal. Now, obviously qualifying for a large home, qualifying for a home loan of $2, $3, $4, even $100,000, they're going to run your credit. So a mortgage company, in order to pre-approve you for a loan, for a mortgage home, to go out there and shop for your first home, they're going to look at your credit and they're going to look at your debt to income ratio. Now, the biggest thing I see preventing new first-time home buyers from getting a pre-approval, even getting a home loan, and being unable to purchase that home loan are car loans. I think the average car loan payment is somewhere around $600 a month. That may be a third of your rent payment, and maybe half your rent payment, maybe your entire rent payment. So really think about big ticket items, especially like car loans, and think about, do I need this car loan? Do I need a brand new truck or a brand new car or a heavy car loan when I'm also trying to shop for a loan? I see that prevent a lot of people from getting that loan because their debt is too high to the money they're bringing in or their income. So think about that. Also, don't take out any new credit. Don't apply for a lot of credit cards just to get the extra miles or the extra cash back or whatever, or take that vacation or anything like that and put it on a credit card. Also, don't shop for all your new home decor and your new home appliances and all that. I've seen it before where a first-time home buyer, they're ready to buy the house, they close in a day or two, and they need a fridge or they need a washer and dryer, and they go to the big box store and they take out the store credit card because it's easy, it takes 2 seconds, and bam, they put their washer, dryer, their fridge on their new line of credit. Well, that can ding your credit to the point where you may not qualify for that home loan anymore and you can't close. That's a big deal. So be really careful about taking out new credit. Really just put cash away. Put it under the mattress, put it in a coffee can, put it in the bank, obviously, but keep it aside. And if you purchase something in a large ticket item or vacation or car, try to pay cash for it. Try not to take out that loan because, like I said, it can prevent you from getting that pre-approval and prevent you from eventually closing on your first home. Number 4, credit cards. I talked about it a little bit, but credit cards. Don't apply for a bunch of credit cards or really any credit cards if you can help it. That many hits or hard inquiries to your credit, that's going to show a mortgage lender if you're, are you stable enough to take on this big investment and this big responsibility of a mortgage? And it can really, since it's so subjective, you've got a human being that's going to approve that pre-approval or approve that loan or not. Credit cards can really take things out if you're applying for 2, 3, 4, 5, a dozen, how many ever credit cards, just so you can have all these lines of credit. So be really careful with that. If you do have credit cards right now, keep the balances low. Lenders like to see that you don't have more than 30% of your line of credit used. So if you're under that 30% threshold of your credit line, then you're okay. Just keep it that way. Obviously, the best option is to pay them off in advance, or pay them off in full, I should say, once you get that bill, so you're not paying interest every month. But be really careful on racking up your credit lines and maxing out even credit cards and taking out new credit cards as lines of credit. They can really hurt you and really damage your ability to get a home. And the number 5 reason, and a really important one, is hire a realtor. Realtors like myself, we are experts in our community. We know what to look for. We know how to negotiate. In a hot seller's market like it is here in Colorado right now, many homeowners or listing agents that are trying to sell that home, they won't even they won't even show you the home unless you have a realtor representing you. Especially in the age of the pandemic we are in right now, sellers don't want random people in their homes just checking it out, especially if they don't know, are they working with something? Are they really serious? Do they want to purchase my home, or are they just looky-loos or creepers checking out my home on a random Saturday? Hire a realtor. Check out your local board of realtors. You can Google them, Facebook, anything. Look for a realtor that knows what they're doing, knows what they're talking about, and has experience, because they can negotiate on your behalf. Plus, like I said, in a seller's market like this, negotiation is key. When homes are going off the market with offers in days and even hours, you need someone that can negotiate on your behalf. Plus, buying your first home is incredibly overwhelming. I remember my wife and I, when we bought our first home, we went to a new home community. We did not have a real estate agent or a realtor representing us. We went into the sales office, said, hey, we want to buy a home. The sales agent was more than happy to take us down in the golf cart to this home that was almost finished. It was this beautiful 2-story home with 22-foot ceilings. That's really what sold us, are these 22-foot vaulted ceilings. Now, the catch was this home was 50 feet from the interstate. 50 feet. We didn't realize, we were too naive at looking at, we can't really ever spend any time in our backyard because cars are going to be whizzing by at 75 miles an hour on an old interstate. You can't really block that sound. Within 2 weeks, I was looking at how to soundproof a house, how to do this, how to do that. But that sales agent, he didn't really try to talk us out of it, and he really didn't have to. He wasn't really representing us. He was trying to sell a home, sell a lot. And he was more than happy when we signed on that dotted line and gave our earnest money away, saying we were under contract. Had we had a real estate agent, they may have said, hey, have you thought about the highway? It's going to be maybe more difficult to sell. What about outside time, etc.? And that's really what your realtor's job is to do. They're to play kind of devil's advocate. Their job is to fill your toolbox, like I do. Fill your toolbox with all the pros and cons of a particular home, an area. There's a reason why they talk about location, 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 location. You may have the most perfect house, but if it's in a poor location, it's not gonna appreciate as high as other houses, and you may not enjoy living there, and you may be looking at the first way to get out of that house. But maybe if you have a house that needs some work, but it's in a fantastic location, you can always change the house. You can always fix the house. You can always update it and do all that, but you can't change that location. So hire that realtor. They can really help with the anxiety, bring you back to earth a little bit if you're getting the glitz and the glamour and the bells and whistles and all that is involved when you see a home for the first time. Hire a realtor, check them out. So that's our top 5 musts you need to do to get ready to buy your first home in 2021. If you found this content helpful, I really appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button, tap the like button, ring the notification bell, comment below. Check me out on social media at seeitsoldjosh.com. All my contact information is below if I can help you in your first time home search and you're looking in the Colorado region. This is Josh C., real estate agent with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Rocky Mountain Realtors in Fort Collins. You guys have a great one.